Danny Valencia put on quite a show in St. Petersburg. 5 home runs in 3 days versus the Rays, including a game-winning 2-run shot in the 9th inning yesterday that helped the Athletics salvage their 9-game road trip. Tonight, the Green and Gold return home to the Coliseum and open up a 7-game homestand. First up, the defending AL West champion Rangers. Texas is off to a fine start, but the A's have some good momentum and will look to get back on track at home. It's game 1 of 3. A's Rangers next. Well, the A's are back home, and they are glad about that. And we're going to play the first of 19 games against the Texas Rangers. The big left-hander Sean Manaea will get the nod in game 1 of this series. So it's the first of 3. It's the Oakland A's hosting the Texas Rangers, and you'll see it right here on CSN California. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper, and we are indeed glad to be back home. But the A's did take 2 out of 3 over the Rays in St. Petersburg over the weekend, and we knew how important Danny Valencia was to the lineup, but he just proved it again over the weekend. Boy, what a show he put on.
Nobody likes to go into a series or a season and wait for that first home run. Well, Danny Valencia took care of that Friday night. Change up in the first inning. That was 1 home run. Of course, that was Chris Davis hitting a 3-run, but this was home run number 2. Dana Evelyn, fastball away, going to right field. So he's using the whole field. Matt Moore yesterday, fastball 3-2. He crushed the left field. Biggest one, 0-2. Tried to go fastball away, left it inside. He hit another home run, but the biggest, Billy Burns got on base to bring Danny Valencia up against Steve Geltz. The first pitch that Geltz threw, fastball, left center field, 5th home run, 3rd yesterday, but 5 home runs for Danny Valencia in 1 weekend series, and yes, all offense of Danny Valencia that weekend.
Not too shabby. Oh, and he's in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, good. That's a good idea.
Texas Rangers in town. They won 88 games last year. They went on to win the AL West, and what are they doing this year? Well, they're off to a pretty good start as well. First place in the West again. And the starters have been good. The relievers, a little shaky so far. We'll see if that continues. Rougned Odor having a terrific season. He can also box a little bit, trust me. And Prince Fielder struggling. Derek Holland we'll see tonight. Holland's had a couple of bad outings, but I think there's a decent chance, Ray, that this team may be even a little bit better than last year's Rangers team.
Well, they're coming off of last year when they were not so good in the early part of the season. They finished very well under their first-year manager, the manager of the American League for Jeff Bannister. So they're off to a better start. I think it's going to be a good year for them, but a very, very good Western Division in the American League.
So a couple of lefties, Derek Holland for Texas and Sean Manaea for the A's. They will square off in game 1 of this 3-game series. We'll have lineups and first pitch when we come back to the Coliseum, so stick around. It's the A's and the Rangers.
Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the Baconlicious Sourdough Bacon Ranch Combo, only at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
So here come the A's as they are home to start this 7-game homestand. Looking forward to that. 3 against the Rangers, 4 against the Yankees. Game time weather for tonight presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The boardwalk is open. Visit beachboardwalk.com for park hours. Nice night, 65 degrees. Is the middle of May. Weather's starting to get nice. Beautiful day around the Bay Area today. And the Rangers in town, so we get our first look at the Texas Rangers. And here is their lineup. Rougned Odor will lead off. Elvis Andrus hits second. Fine young rookie Nomar Mazara. First look at him. Adrian Beltre is going to DH tonight. Ian Desmond playing center field now for the Rangers. Ryan Rua will be at first. Drew Stubbs is in left. Bobby Wilson is your catcher, and Hanser Alberto gets a start at third base.
And Sean Manaea will be making his 4th major league start. He started against Houston, Seattle, at Boston. And first time against the Texas Rangers, still looking for his first major league victory, and he hopes to get that tonight and reduce his ERA, which was inflated as a result of 2 2/3 innings, 8 earned runs in his last start at Fenway Park. So the young man has a different look that we'll talk about momentarily.
Yes, he does. Defensively, Chris, Burns, and Reddick in the outfield. Valencia, Simeon, Ladendorf, Butler on the infield, and Mac McBride is your catcher. So Manaea is ready, and Rougned Odor steps in. We're set for baseball. Good to be back home after the long road trip. And the first pitch is a fastball a little up and into Odor. Odor at 286, 7 homers, 21 RBIs. Having a very fine season for the Rangers. He's got 10 doubles and a triple and 5 stolen bases. And he belts this one high in the air, deep center field. Burns going back. Burns is there, and he's got it.
That ball went a long way.
It sure did.
Time now for the Nissan keys of the game. Yes, some home cooking. The A's need to play better here at their home park at the Coliseum. And the number 55, how about the new hairdo by Sean Manaea? A's got a new player in St. Petersburg, and there he is. You remember seeing all the hair sticking out from under the cap, but he got it all cut down in St. Pete, as they have barbers in the clubhouses down there. So he visited and came out with the look, a much different look, but he hopes it is a good result as the new look. But Odor hit that ball a long way.
Yes, he did.
Maybe the ball is carrying very well, because Odor is not your prototypical leadoff hitter. He will swing hard. He has hit home runs, but the ball carried a lot farther than it seemed it was going to.
0-1 to Elvis Andrus, the shortstop. Hitting at 288, 14 RBIs for Elvis Andrus.
I mean, it sounded good, big swing, but all of a sudden Billy Burns going back near the warning track, Xfinity sign, and really pulls it in. It's if, well, he didn't think it was going to be a problem. I don't think Odor either.
What a dude, Andrus. Well, he's not a real big guy, but he's strong.
Well, you see the shin guard he has on the right side. He's got his right arm protected, so maybe he could catch. He's got enough of the protection.
He can do a lot of things. We found that out.
Okay.
This one in the air. Reddick shading his eyes. He's in a patch of sun, and he's got it. 2 outs here in the top of the first, and that'll bring up Nomar Mazara. Our first look at him, Ray. We've heard nothing but good things about him.
Saw him briefly in spring training, but did not start with the club. But man, he has been unbelievable since he joined the Rangers. And you think where he's hitting in the lineup, hitting third, power hitter, 4 home runs, 12 driven in, over 300 batting average. And Ron Washington, who managed the Rangers and saw this young man before, spoke very highly of him, and he has proven to be exactly what Wash talked about.
Where he ranks among the AL rookies. He's just 21 years old. Slowly hit. Simeon has it. Throws to first, and they got him. A very close play at first, but a nice play by Simeon. We'll see if the Rangers want to take a look at it.
Okay, they can go back in and say no.
So they got him on a very close play.
And they're still looking, but I'm surprised they're even considering looking at it as long. Steve Buechele, bench coach for Jeff Bannister. But Semien had to get a better grip. That's why he did not throw the ball initially. So the ball into the glove, foot still not on the bag. So let's go.
So that'll do it. So it ends up being a 3-up, 3-down inning for Sean Manaea. Back here in the bottom of the first, and here is the lineup. Starts with Coco Crisp and Billy Burns. Lots of speed up top. Then Reddick, Valencia Davis, Butler, Semien, McBride, and Ladendorf.
Derek Holland, the lefty on the mound for the Rangers. One of 3 lefties the A's will see as Holland is making his 8th career start against the Athletics. And did not face the A's last year in the rotation. Last faced them as a starter in 2014.
Trying to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And when he stays healthy, he's a pretty good pitcher, but that has not been the case last couple of years. This one's popped up. Odor right near the bag at second base, and he's got it. So behind Derek Holland tonight for the Texas Rangers, it's Stubbs, Desmond, and Mazzara in the outfield. Alberto, Andrus, Odor, and Rua on the infield. Bobby Wilson is your catcher. Prince Fielder getting the night off. Mitch Moreland, who pretty much the regular first baseman, he's not in there with the lefty pitching tonight.
I mean Babe Moreland?
Babe Moreland.
He's one of those babes that hits so well against the Athletics. Tremendous power. So maybe the fact that the A's have lefties also, that maybe that will keep a few of the lefties of the Rangers on the bench.
So as Ray said, it'll be a series full of lefties. Rangers and Athletics both slated to start lefties in all 3 games. 4 series of 3 or more games since 1990 to feature all lefty starters, but there is some talk about the A's possibly making a change tomorrow. It's not for sure. It has not been announced, but there's some rumors flying around the ballpark that we could see Jesse Hahn. Again, that's nothing official. It's just what we've been hearing.
Well, when he went to AAA after the Baltimore nightcap of the day-night doubleheader, he had to stay 10 days. So do the math. If that's the case, there'd been talk that he would be coming back. That was just the A's needed a starter for this Wednesday game because of the rain out.
Bounce to Hanser Alberto, who throws across the diamond. Well, Eric Surkamp is the scheduled starter for tomorrow. That has not changed, but it is possible that there could be a change. So if we hear anything, we'll let you know. 2 away, and here's Reddick. Reddick had a terrific road trip. He was digging the East Coast. On that road trip, he was 15 for 29 with 5 RBIs and 6 walks.
Just a question whether Josh is going to fly everybody to the West Coast that was back visiting him.
Yeah, he had a full group.
Yes, he did.
They were not going to squeeze into one cab. They needed one of those big vans that hold about 30 people. He had lots of family and friends there.
Didn't start yesterday against the left-hander Matt Moore, the pitcher for the Rays in the series finale. He did pinch hit and hit a base hit to right center.
.316 the average for Reddick with 4 home runs and 17 RBIs. Inside, Holland trying to work at least a couple pitches into Reddick. Now it's a full count.
And he tops out about 92, 93 with his fastball. You saw the 92 that was that crisp hit. That was about topping out.
Odor scoops it, and Holland has a 3-up, 3-down inning. So we are scoreless after 1 from the Coliseum. A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by AAA. What does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. Top of the second, Beltre to lead it off. Beltre is DHing tonight. He'll be followed by Ian Desmond and Ryan Rua. .275 for Beltre, 6 homers, 26 RBIs. Beltre wanted a. Is that a strike?
He'll smile, but he's upset because this. Boy, you talk about a high strike. And Beltre shot the glance back. Beltre sound the extension, which for the Rangers, whether he does anything, and he'll do a lot, play Gold Glove third base, and he'll hit, but his presence on this ball club as a veteran, as a leader, means as much for the extension as anything.
Yeah, got a 2-year extension. He's 36 years old.
Been playing for 20 years, hasn't he?
Yes, 18.
I mean, seriously,
he was a youngster when he came up with the Dodgers.
And just gotten better and better.
Fouls this one just below us. Good swing by Beltre. Beltre with 419 career home runs now, and his career hit total is 2,806. So with the new 2-year extension and the rest of this year, he's obviously going to get to 3,000 hits. He could get to 500 home runs.
Well, he might be, in the years that we have seen him, especially Seattle, Boston, now Texas, might be one of the smartest hitters.
Yeah, he's terrific.
You know, I mean, just kind of sets up and he looks for certain pitches and has a pretty good idea how the pitchers are going to try to get him out.
So among active hits leaders, Beltre is 3rd behind Alex Rodriguez and Ichiro Suzuki. Ichiro closing in on 3,000 hits. It's a good group. Jimmy Rollins closing in on 2,500 career hits. Beltre rips one foul. Heads up down there. This would be a good night for foul balls.
Yeah, hit an empty seat, which is a good idea because that was a rocket. And then
that's.
You got to be kidding me. Are you going to pick it up? Scotty wasn't going to run all the way to the end of the bench to get it.
Scotty looks relaxed. He looks like he's been off work for 10 days. In the air toward left. As Chris gets back, settles underneath it.
Good changeup, although still carried quite a ways. I mean, with what Odor did and now Beltre in a changeup, good idea because he was on the fastball, pulled the string just enough. And Beltre just a little bit out in front, and as a result, hit the ball with just his upper body, kept it in the park. Fortunately for Manaea with a good changeup.
In the air on the infield by Ian Desmond, who goes after the first pitch, and Landorf has it. So 2 away. Greater coverage of baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile as we take a look at the A's starting pitchers outside of Rich Hill. Rich Hill's been fine.
Number 16, Ryan Rua.
3-1, terrific ERA. Now, this is the last 21 games, but the other starters have just 1 win in that stretch, so it's been an issue. So the only other win was by Jesse Hahn, and Jesse Hahn's in the minor leagues.
That was
May not be for long, but
yeah, his first start, and of course he has gone 5+ innings, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when your starters are not going.
Rua belts one left center, and it's off the wall. And Rua's going to make it to second with a double.
Caught a break.
I think he did.
Caught a break because that.
And I think the A's did.
Yeah. Yeah, because the farther you get down in the batting order, it just seems like some of the hitters are gearing a little bit better against Manaea. Hitting for the first time, and this ball looked like it might carry out, but just to the left, the CSN sign right there, and man, just 4 or 5 inches to the right, it would have just snuck over the shorter fence.
Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Yeah, that's kind of the break we're talking about. So it's a double for Rua. It's his second double of the year, and here's Drew Stubbs. Drew Stubbs getting a chance to play a little bit for the Rangers. The Rangers just sent Delino DeShields back to the minor leagues, which I guess a little surprising, although DeShields was struggling this year, but he had such a fine season last year.
Yeah, that is surprising, especially with his speed.
Stubbs fouls it back. Stubbs has been around a long time. He's a very good outfielder. He's got a lot of speed. He will hit some home runs, and he strikes out a lot.
But he had a huge walk-off, and that endeared himself to the Rangers team as well as the fans. Well, as the Red Sox were doing against Manaea, Rangers are swinging the bat, and they're just missing some pitches. That's why off-speed pitches are pretty good. Change up there that he tried with it. Just doesn't look the same, does it?
No,
I mean,
not even close.
I mean, what's that hair?
Stubbs hits one high and foul.
Well, the luxury of having 2 outs, Manaea did not look back at Rua at second base. He's just concentrating on the hitter Stubbs, and not a bad idea to try to get the 3rd out and leave the runner at second base, but you have to at least pay a little attention to him, although middle infielders holding their positions. Now he does look back.
Blocked nicely by Matt McBride. .24 pitches so far. The fastball and the change.
He does throw the slider, and he is throwing those. Matter of fact, Stephen Vogt, who caught it in the first 3, used the slider a couple of times on 3 and 2 counts.
A little bit inside, but a good pitch.
Well, the height is no problem because that's what Gabe Morales has been calling the high strike, but was off the plate. It's a time not necessarily to give in to the hitter. He's going to be sitting fastball. Maybe time to break out the sliders, change up, something other than just grooving a fastball.
And a changeup and a good one. So a big strikeout for Manaea, his first of the game. And the Rangers leave a runner stranded. Bottom of the 2nd coming up, no score.
Creek Casino Resort, Tuesday, May the 17th. You know what? That's tomorrow night. Fans that purchase a special ticket will receive an exclusive A's Korean Heritage Night hat. And it's also a Chevy free parking Tuesday. For tickets and more information, visit athletics.com/Korean today. That's tomorrow night, 17th. It's tomorrow night.
Yep. So Valencia to lead it off, followed by Davis and Butler, bottom of the 2nd. Valencia's got his average up to 342 after his big weekend. 25 hits and 73 at bats. Double and a triple to go along with the 5 home runs. And you just don't see very often what he did yesterday, the 3 home runs in a game. But how about the distance of the home runs? I mean, they were, all 3 of them were tape measure shots.
You know, he's sitting and maybe watching Gabe Morales call a high strike, figure he's not going to get the low strike, and he just did. And Valencia goes from possible 3-1 to 2-2.
Little jam shot. Rua has it. So check out where each one of these home runs lands yesterday at Tropicana Field.
It's a 3-2 fastball. The board challenged him, and so he goes up where it's tarped. And then tries to go fastball away, left it inside. And
Tarped.
The biggest, though, was this one. I mean, you talk about center cut fastball. left center field, very long way Tropicana Field dome, and 3 in a game. You see that often.
Josh Reddick was the last A to do it. That was in Toronto. 0-1 to Chris Davis. Davis hits one high in the air. Right field long run for Mazzara, but he will get there, straddling the line. He's got it. So 2 away. Oakland A's history, 5 home runs in a 3-game series. Big Mac did it 3 times. And of course Valencia yesterday.
Well, the 95 at Boston was historic for Mark McGwire. He hit the 3, okay, but I've never seen when he came up for his 4th at bat, they pitched around him and the fans of Fenway booed the pitcher. Their own pitcher booed him. I mean, and he did not hit them just into the monster, way over the monster. There were cars that were in danger where he was hitting them. And the weekend in Cleveland, that was following the Toronto series, I want to say, at Old Exhibition Stadium.
Fastball gets in on the hands of Butler. Andrus and Odor come together, and it'll be Elvis Andrus side retired. So good inning for Derek Holland, and we are scoreless after 2. All-Star Teacher Program is here, recognizing teachers that make a difference. That is Mr. Wayne Phillips from Mills High School in Millbrae. During his 44 years of teaching, Wayne has taught social science, government, and economics. He's been retired for over a decade, but still teaches international relations at Mills High. Visit csncalifornia.com and vote. 44 years as a teacher.
That's great.
I like that he dresses up.
Yeah.
Good. And he's enjoying the ball.
He's retired but still teaching. That's pretty good there. And that's great to see, you know, to be able to teach for 44, retire and still teach. And it's enjoying A's baseball, decked out. It just, if he had a Connie Mack hat on, he'd be really great, huh? Yeah.
That's the way all the fans used to dress in like the 20s and 30s.
Right. Yeah. What was it like?
Well, I tell you, when I was going to games in the 20s and 30s.
Beat you to it.
Hanser Alberto.
Well, we talked about those seats at Fenway. They were built then for
right.
the 20s and 30s.
Good pitch there by Benaya, 1-1. Alberto at 174, getting a start at third base tonight. Change up and a good one. Back for Alberto, this is his first start at third base this year. Wants it inside. Popped up. Butler near the seats, and Billy Butler makes the play. Butler got over there, and he had just enough room.
Good play by Billy Butler, especially getting to the distance that he had to run, get to the warning track, realize how close he was, and lost to his cap. See him peeking to see how much room he had. And a very, very good play by Billy Butler, who, as we have said, when he played first base in 14. Yeah, there's a lot of foul territory here, Roberto. I mean, this is not your normal stadium where that ball's in the seats.
Slider to Odor is low.
Maybe playing first base that for Billy Butler instead of just the DH could help him, because he can, as always, think about defense in addition to his swing of the bat.
Swing and a miss. 1-1. One and one the count. Odor hit a deep fly ball to center field. His first at bat. Big swing on that slider. Odor had a pretty interesting day yesterday, and really.
Well, he's got a big swing. We saw it last year when he was with the ball club and how hard he swung at everything, and that's when he makes contact. He's a dangerous hitter.
Pretty good brawl yesterday afternoon between the Rangers and the Blue Jays. Odor right in the middle of it. But we also have some footage of him in the minor leagues, and you're going to realize that yesterday was not the first time he threw a punch in a baseball game. You will be impressed by his boxing skills.
Oh, catch him.
Oh. Somebody's got to catch it.
Well, Manaea went after it. He should have continued after it. And he did a ball like that, and it's not going to travel. And typically pitchers don't go after a ball, but that's where he needs to be aggressive and go for it. Watch him get there and stop when he sees McBride coming, but call him off, because it's an easier play for Manaea to come across the line and make the play and not give Odor another opportunity. Chris Bassett with his Tommy John surgery and the right elbow. Got the big brace. A couple of catchers looking on.
Another slider. So the count 3-2 now. Defensive lineup is pretty straight away, with Burns just shaded a little bit toward right center. On the ground, Landorf, nice play, throws, and it got him. Tyler Landorf with a dandy play to take a hit away from Rougned Odor. So nicely done. So bottom of the third coming up. No score. Bottom of the third. Marcus Semien steps in. No score between the A's and the Rangers. So at least in the early going, both pitchers look sharp, which is really two pitchers that have struggled. Derek Holland got off to a decent start this year, but his last 2 starts have been awful. After 5 starts, he had an ERA of 2.48, but then he gave up 11 runs in 2 2/3 innings at Toronto and 4 runs in 2 1/3 innings against the White Sox. Those are his last 2 starts. So he saw his ERA go from 2.48 to 6.09 in 2 starts. Cue shot. Andrus charging, and that's a nice play. All right, so this is what happened yesterday. Blue Jays, Rangers. Remember last year Batista with the bat flip? Well, this year, 8th inning, he gets drilled. You can make your own conclusion. So Batista gets to first base, but he's not happy. So this is where it gets very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And Ray, think about that. When a guy gets hit, he's mad. Doesn't charge the mound, but he's thinking, I'm hurting. I want to hurt somebody from the other team. And the best way to do it is to take somebody out at second base.
Especially since pitchers don't hit in the American League.
So
in
keep
American
that in
League
mind.
games,
And we will show you just piece by piece how this all happened.
Also bear in mind that the slide, you cannot slide through the bag.
So here's what happens right after that. Batista goes into Odor late. And here we go. And watch this. Boom. And Odor landed a pretty good punch on Batista. And then it got crazy. And there's the punch. And he got him good. Even Batista said, hey, you got me. But the fight raged on for a while. Josh Donaldson was out there doing crazy stuff.
Hadn't John Gibbons been ejected in the 3rd inning?
Came back out, which you can't do, so he's going to be in some trouble.
Well, Bryce Harper only got 1 game for doing that, right?
Andrus has it. Straight over the top, and Rua dropped it. So the A's have their first base runner. They'll take it.
That's going to be on Andrus, because I don't know that if it short hopped or slight bounce, Andrus threw him a sinker. And see if Rua has a glove on it. No, the fact it hit the dirt first never came up to his glove. Should be an E6. It's an E somebody.
It's probably going to be an E6, but I agree with that. I think that's an E3. And he's not a regular first baseman, so I think, but if you reach out 2 more inches, the ball's not in the dirt.
But not the way he turned his glove, and that's why it's in the dirt. Or actually, he turned his glove incorrectly. If he turned it the correct way, then yeah, you're right. It would not have gone in the dirt.
But he's played a lot of outfield, now just playing first base. Either way, the A's get a base runner. Want to know to Ladendorf. Way inside. So that fight that we're showing you now, after the punches were thrown, well, then the dugout's completely cleared, and there was a lot going on, a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, and when it all kind of got cleared up, bottom of the inning, Prince Fielder stepped to the plate, and that's a double play. We'll show you what happened after this. But Ladendorf, good speed, and he could not quite beat it. And we'll see if the A's want to take a look at it. It was close play at first. You be the judge. He's out. So the A's will not check it. So the air does not hurt the Rangers, and it's scoreless after 3. All right, so this is how this all ended. The very next inning, Jesse Chavez hits Pitts fielder. Chavez thrown out of the game. And it was quite an afternoon in Arlington. And when it was all said and done, the Rangers won the game 7-6. There's a shot off of Valencia, and Andrus is going to be aboard. So it's going to be a base hit. But we told you Rougned Odor knows what he's doing. This was in the minor leagues. Ray, check this out. That's Odor sliding into second. Now watch. Watch. And now there's one. Oh, there's another one.
Jeez.
Wow. So he's been in these situations before. Rougned Odor at the age of 21. So we laugh, but in all honesty, Ray, Odor's going to get suspended.
Should.
And it's going to be for a while.
He should. I mean, he'll appeal it, and it's probably going to come down tomorrow. And he'll appeal it. He'll play in the series, but you know, you land a direct hit.
Yeah.
You know, it is punishable, and
so,
it should be.
Yeah, I mean, so we're having fun with it, and I think the Rangers were like, yeah, that's just, you know, he's tough, blah, blah, all that. But the reality is, you're going to lose him now for a significant amount of games. Could be 5, could be 7, could be 10. Who knows? So then you have to say, well, was that the smart thing to do? But that's for other people to decide.
Also better be concerned about his right hand.
Yeah.
I mean, you hit somebody, and you not only could injure them seriously, you could injure yourself.
Yep. One, 2 the count to Nomar Mazara. Mazara grounded out to the shortstop in the first inning. Rays off that slider.
Matt McBride made his first start as a catcher at the major league level on Saturday in St. Petersburg. And good job of blocking the ball, and good idea not to throw to first base. That's a chance unless you're 100% sure you have him. Take a chance throwing the ball down in the corner, but good blocking by McBride.
Toward left field, Coco's there. So that's out number 1 here in the top of the 4th. No score. A's and Rangers. He's trying to build a little momentum after winning 2 out of 3 over the weekend, especially what happened yesterday. But
well, the biggest thing, as we talked earlier, is that you have to win at home. You have a favorable schedule at home. You have to start getting the wins at a place where you're at least familiar with, because it's always hard to win on the road. He's found that out on the just completed road trip. They are finished on the East Coast as far as the Eastern Division cities.
$13 of the next 16 at home for the A's, so they have an opportunity to get better here at the Coliseum. They're 5-11 at home. A's come in with a record of 16-22 overall. Close pitch, good fastball by Manaea.
Well, the heights again, all right, had to be off the plate because Morales has been calling the high strike, especially the one that was a little bit real high to Beltran, his first at bat.
That one is in first strike.
Surprised he wasn't all over that. Beltran usually has a pretty good idea on the count and what pitch he's going to get. But took that one almost like he knew it was coming. That was a little bit off speed.
That's Ian Desmond waiting to hit. Outside now, 3-1. So be careful here. Andrus, the runner at first, he's got a big lead. Beltre hit a fly ball to left field in the second inning. Infield double play depth. Beltre drives one to right. Reddick's got plenty of room, and he makes the catch. 2 away. And that'll bring up Ian Desmond.
Now batting, number 20,
So Ian Desmond was thought to be a highly sought after free agent this past offseason, but not as much out there as he thought. He ended up signing a 1-year deal with the Texas Rangers to play left field. Now he's playing center field. A lot of people surprised he was out there as long as he was as a free agent. He's a pretty good player.
Well, if he just looks at Adrian Beltre going to the Red Sox for 1 year and the contract he signed after, and of course the 2-year extension we just mentioned, so it worked out well for him. But I think that was after 5 years in Seattle that weren't his best years.
And Desmond knew coming to the Rangers that he was not going to play shortstop. That's the spot he played with the Washington Nationals. Desmond did not, if I remember correctly, he signed when spring training had just started, I believe. So 0-2. Desmond popped out to the second baseman Ladendorf in the second inning.
Well, the thing about that, of course, the calls come from the bench, but when he threw it the first time, he came to the plate the next pitch, and base runners, Elvis Andrus a little bit bigger lead, and he can run. So again, coming from the bench, perhaps realizing Andrus maybe wanted to get in the scoring position. Notice the throws from Anaya not aggressively over to first base. It's just kind of a courtesy throw.
Swing and a miss. Good fastball. Pull it right by Ian Desmond. Second strikeout for Sean Manaea. Bottom of the fourth coming up. It'll be the top of the order for the A's. CSN California is brought to you by Clipper. For work, play, and all points between. Use Clipper instead of cash to pay for transit. Bottom of the fourth inning, no score. And Coco Chris drives the first pitch he sees into left center field, but it hangs up. And Desmond is there, one away. So Chris saw the first pitch, and he liked it. And that's out number one. He's still looking for their first hit. They've had one base runner. That was McBride, who reached down there. And he was erased out the double play. So Billy Burns steps in. First pitch to Burns is a strike on the inside corner with a fastball from Derek Holland. Went in there again, and that one a little bit too far off the plate. Burns bounced to third in the first inning. Holland, he's got a good rhythm going right now. He's working quickly. He's throwing strikes, has not walked anybody, and has not struck anybody out.
He likes the fastball inside the right-handers, and he stayed in there pretty consistently tonight. Going back again, Bobby Wilson. And it hit him. Well, we talked yesterday, the ninth inning. It was important for somebody to get on in front of the hot Danny Valencia, and it took Billy Burns, the third hitter in the inning, hit a breaking ball to left center. And that would bring up Danny Valencia and a new pitcher. But Burns, an easy double for him. And of course, Valencia hit the 2-run home run off Gauss' first pitch. But if Burns makes out, Valencia never comes up. So just like his 14th pitch at bat on Friday night against the Rays, Billy Burns a big double yesterday. And gets the first hit tonight. The first hit by pitch tonight.
Let's hope there's more.
It's considered a first hit.
Thought yesterday was still it was a little strange that the closer was used in the 8th inning.
I know.
It's kind of hard to figure out. I'm sure there was a reason for it. The Rays used their closer Colomé in the 8th inning.
Well, I think it had the local broadcasters shaking their heads as well.
Well, it had the visiting broadcasters.
Well, I know
too,
ours were shaking.
But we were happy about it. But you just don't see that very often.
No.
And I think your point was it may be something the A's would do because they have 3 legitimate people that could close a game. Guys that have closed before have had a lot of success closing with Axford and Madsen and Doolittle. That was not necessarily the case with the Rays in their bullpen. But we also thought when Colomé, the Rays closer, went out there in the 8th inning that it was going to be a 2-inning save.
Exactly, because he had not pitched in the series.
Exactly. So interesting.
Well, it worked out well because decided not to stay with Cedeno, the lefty. And I think that's the biggest thing too. If you send a guy out to close the game, either send Geltz out to close it beginning of the inning, or Cedeno leave him in, but opted not to do it. And the fact that Danny Valencia had already hit 2 home runs against the lefty Matt Moore. So bringing the righty in, thinking about maybe changing him around.
And again, it's easy to talk about it now because we know what happened, but walking Valencia, another option.
That's true.
Because first base was open and you're putting another runner on base in the late innings. But
better than Bobby Wilson making a nice stop. 2 former Tigers catchers now with the Rangers. Right. That's amazing. McCann and Bobby Wilson saw Wilson when we were in Detroit.
Reddick, jam shot, a little flare. Odor hustling out, and he's not going to get it. So there is the first hit, and the A's will take it. And they got something going now against Holland. And that guy is coming up, Danny Valencia.
Well, it's nice to have the reputation of being a power hitter. That means the outfielders have to respect your power. So they're playing deep. So this ball not able to be handled by Odor, the second baseman, and trying to in right center. Odor trying to catch it over his shoulder, but looking up for Desmond, who was not able to get there quickly enough. And you know, if you've had a couple of bad outings back to back, and something like this happens, hit batter, jam, base hit, you gotta start thinking, is it going to happen again?
Sure.
So let's hope the A's can keep it going.
Valencia popped out to first. His first at bat. Fastball right at the knees for a strike. Valencia also has a 10-game hitting streak. Now that goes back to before he went on the disabled list, but it's a 10-game hitting streak nonetheless. Remember when he came back and he had the game, it was in Baltimore, right, where he tweaked his hamstring a little bit, but he tweaked it on a play where he got an infield hit.
Right.
Good speed with Burns and Reddick out there. Fastball, little up, little in. So a .405 average during that 10-game hitting streak.
Now Billy Burns being held by Odor at second base, but it really looks like he wants to run. He's trying to get a lead, and Holland looks back a second time, as he does again. See, Desmond in center field did not move.
That's a good call. He should be
busted in. As soon as the pitcher turns the throw, he's got to be assuming it's going to be missed. And if he doesn't, Burns and Reddick have both advanced, but happened to be a good throw by Holland. But anything can happen with the throw at second, and well, center fielder really has to be alert in a play like that.
Valencia takes low, blocked. Yeah, that's a good call. And not only that, but Desmond, he's playing pretty deep.
Yeah. That's the reason he could not get to Reddick's ball, and he did not break back. But when you're playing deep, you're typically playing deep because you don't want to be able to go back on a ball, and that means there's a lot of space between the infield and the outfield. I mean, we see teams coming in here playing extremely shallow, and then all of a sudden we see this, and creates a lot of room, almost like Coors Field with all the space.
Valencia takes it inside. Did it hit him, or is it a foul ball? He's got a piece of the bat. Oh yeah, hit the end of the bat.
Yep. Get the knob.
I think it hit the end.
Yeah, the end of the bat. Yeah, as it came
end is in
right there.
Yeah, down by the barrel.
Act like he had been hit himself.
So 2-2. And that one hooked down the left field line, foul. He was out ahead of an off-speed pitch. So we mentioned the good start for Derek Holland. In April, he was 3-1 with that 2.48 ERA, but a disastrous 2 starts in the month of May. But he's been good so far tonight. He just needs to stay healthy. It's really pretty simple with him. Fouled straight back. Holland in the last 2 years has made a combined 15 starts. In 2014 it was knee surgery that put him on the disabled list. Last year it was shoulder issues.
Knee surgery is a result of walking down the stairs.
That's right. And then last year, remember, he got hurt warming up before his first start.
Yeah.
And Rangers hope he's healthy this year. They'll get Darvish back very soon. Cole Hamels is very good. So the Rangers like where they're at, sitting at 22-16. Half-game lead over the Mariners.
That was a 2-2 changeup. What does he throw? 3-2.
And he threw a fastball. He tried to catch the inside corner, but misses. So a hit batter, a bloop single, and a walk. First walk issued by Derek Holland.
Strange not seeing Mike Maddox run out to the mound as a pitching coach, and what is really strange is not seeing the right hand on the shoulder.
Yeah, I saw it the other night. Who's he with now?
Washington.
Washington.
Yeah,
I saw it
with
the
Dusty. Yeah. You noticed it too. Actually took both hands. He's going. That's it.
There he is. He's imitating him.
Designated hitter number 2.
Yes.
Chris Davis.
Yeah, covering his mouth. That's classic. Oh wow, nice shot, guys.
First pitch to Davis, outside, 1-0.
Well, Brocail went over there. Guys probably said, "Don't you dare put your hand on my shoulder."
We've had enough. The shoulder touch.
And he didn't cover his mouth when he was talking either. But Vogt, that was a classic, man.
Davis checks his swing. That one catches the outside corner. Burns at third, Reddick at second, Valencia at first. Great opportunity here for the Athletics.
Well, just on the outside, and Chris Davis at slightly open stance started to and did not pull the trigger. Good idea.
And now it's 1-2. Defense is straight away for Davis.
Well, these are the opportunities the A's are looking for. You get bases loaded. Really some gifts in the inning with a hit, batter, and a walk, and a base hit jammed.
And that one hit hard but foul, headed down toward the A's bullpen.
Oh, Scotty.
Routine play for Scotty. Scotty looks like he's dragging a little bit.
Yeah, he's dragging. He's
first game back.
Yeah, and he said, "I shouldn't have flipped the ball." That's right, Scotty. You got to walk it over.
He's dragging.
That nonchalant flip in the stands, you know.
Hit high and foul. So good battle here between Holland and Davis. Davis hit a fly ball down the right field line that was caught by Mazzara in the second inning. Now Holland's ready. There's a shot, and it's foul. Wow.
How did Hunter Wendelstedt even see it to call it foul?
He heard it.
I was going to say.
It was close. Nope, good call.
Yeah. Great call, Mr. Wendelstedt.
And somehow Davis got a piece of that one. Like a changeup from Derek Holland.
Yeah, just off the end of the bat. Listen, anytime you watch a hitter, as Billy Burns displayed on Friday night in St. Petersburg, to foul off 14 after, or to have a 14 pitch at bat and then reach base safely.
Close pitch, 2-2.
See, when you start fouling off pitchers' pitches, they throw everything in the book. This is a changeup just off the plate, recognized nicely by Chris Davis. Amazing his plate coverage, considering that he has his open stance.
And he stands off the plate a fair amount. Very high to right field. Mazzara backs up. Burns will tag, and he's got it. He'll get it back in quickly. Burns will score, and it's a sacrifice fly for Davis, and the A's have a 1-0 lead.
Chris Davis always amazes me that he has a swing, and you think, if you're just watching it for the first time, you think, well, that's not going to be deep enough. The next thing you know, it's almost carrying out of the park. Unbelievable power that Chris Davis has. I mean, this is a great swing protecting against all the pitches that Hollow is throwing, and this ball takes off. Looks like it's an easy pop-up. Look where the ball carries. Almost to the warning track in right field, easily deep enough to score Billy Burns. So Chris Davis, a great at bat. Turns out to be a 9-pitch at bat, fouled off 4.
And here's Butler. I think he's one of those guys, Ray, that gets good backspin on the ball.
Yeah, oh, yes.
That will help your ball carry a lot.
And that's why the ball down the third baseline, I mean, you get it in his wheelhouse, and he puts the power swing on it. It's hit hard.
So Butler now evens the count at 1-1 with the swing and a miss. He's had some at-bats against Holland, 5 for 18 with a home run. Popped out to short in his first at-bat tonight. The hit batter, Billy Burns, has scored. There's action in the bullpen. Luke Jackson, who was just called up from the minor leagues, starts to throw. Tapped foul. Luke Jackson was called up, and Tom Wilhelmsen was sent to the minor leagues. Wilhelmsen had an ERA at almost 10. So 32 pitches this inning for Holland after breezing through the first 3 innings. Butler taps it foul. Boy, the A's are making Holland work in this inning.
I remember also Coco Crisp had a 1-pitch at bat, fly ball to center field, and it hit Burns with a couple of strikes, and that opened up the inning with a 1-out hit batter on a 1-2 count.
Blocked nicely by Bobby Wilson. So it's a full count, and Valencia will be able to take off at first.
They have to make sure he throws the ball. They're going to hold him at first so he does not get a big jump off first base, but he only should leave once the pitch goes to the plate.
Butler hits it foul down the third baseline. A little better hustle that time.
I just wonder why he has a chair with arms on it, you know, that he can be just cool, you know, lean on it with the right elbow. Just lean, got a little lean going.
The bullpen lean. Butler, base hit left center field. Reddick trots in to score, and the A's lead 2-0.
Billy Butler looked like he had him zoned in on every pitch he threw, and fouled off some pitches. And then he just stayed back very nicely. Let's breaking ball. Once he just stays back, and it's a little bit towards the end of the bat, but boy, once you could see where the ball was headed from our direction, he knew it was going to be a base hit. That's a big 2-out run scoring single. And Josh Reddick, who got the first hit for the Athletics. So the first hit, actually, Billy Burns, was the first hit.
Yes,
so
it was. And the first run, thank you.
That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 foul balls with 2 strikes in this inning. And I know there are other foul balls, but I think the most important time is whenever a hitter can foul off a tough pitch after he gets 2 strikes on it.
So here's Marcus Semien, the 7th man to bat in this inning. Luke Jackson has kind of stopped throwing down there, meaning he's ready. Holland is really laboring.
They got to telegraph that changeup, and telegraph meanings that as a hitter you can see it coming and you realize that you don't have to try to go get it and swing and miss. Sean Manaea with a 2-0 lead, throwing some very good changeups.
Throw down to second, and hustling back is Valencia. It's a pretty nice pickoff attempt by the Rangers.
That's a preset play. You see Odor coming in. Look at the lead that Valencia is getting. He's trying to take the secondary lead. In the event a ball is hit to the outfield, he can score easily.
Oh, you know what? They're talking about it in the Rangers dugout. And look out here, folks. He may know it, Valencia.
Well,
he does come off the bag.
Pops up. Well, maybe he got his right hand on the bag as Odor went after him, but foot got down.
Yeah,
I think
the foot got back down. You're right. Holland has it. He'll spin around, throw to first, side retired. So the A's get 2 runs on a couple of hits, a walk, a hit batter, and we're headed to the 5th. A's 2, Rangers nothing.
Baseball Live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet.
So the A's get 2 in the bottom of the 4th. Sean Manaea will face Rua, Stubbs, and Wilson. First pitch just a bit outside. Rua has one of the 2 hits for the Rangers. He doubled high off the wall in left center field. It was in the 2nd inning. And now it's 2-0.
Well, we know he can hit because he broke up Sonny Gray's no-hitter last year opening night. Now Sean Manaea with a 2-0 lead, just trying to get back in the dugout at least with that and make it an easy 5th inning.
Swing and a miss. Good changeup, 84 miles an hour, and it just kind of faded away from Rua.
Well, when he's ever to throw the changeup in a fastball count, it's all motion right there. They're swinging at a fastball and not even close to being in the strike zone. But well, I just thought he's going to get a heater. He did not, and it's a good time to pull the string.
So he goes upstairs with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Full count to Rua. Number 58 coming up from Sean Manaea. Here it is. And changeup bounce to third. Valencia gives ground across the diamond. So first out here in the 5th inning. Check this out, Ray.
Yeah.
Vertical location of Sean Manaea's pitches. The first 2 starts.
Now batting,
and then at
number
Boston.
15, Drew Stubbs.
Is that
vertical?
That's
up and down,
that's north and south,
which
right?
is interesting that there was fewer pitches up in the strike zone in his start in Boston, but yet he got knocked around.
Well, he's thrown some great changeups tonight. Whether they're vertical or horizontal, they've been very good pitches thrown, because Sean Manaea, that, you know, it's pitching backwards basically. Fastball counts, and 2-1, 3-2, he goes changeup, and hitters looking fastball, and fastball there with a foul back. And so it's basically that the big man, and he is big, is able to change speeds effectively with the same delivery.
There's the velocity difference. 7 miles per hour difference between changeup and fastball.
But it seems like the Rangers and the ones we have seen that have swung at the changeups, and there have been some of the real good hitters like Beltre, they've committed to swing at what they think is a fastball that they're getting. But it happens to be a changeup, and it does not have to be the differential that we normally expect. But in the case when Odorizzi did it Friday night, he was doing it in 3-2 counts, and he threw an 86, 87 mile an hour changeup, and the differential was, it's like a batting practice fastball. And that's why they were both crushed in the first inning.
It's got to feel good, though, for a pitcher to get an out on a changeup.
Oh, absolutely, especially in a fastball count.
Yeah.
And then in the case of Desmond last inning, he gets 0-2 and blows him away with a fastball. So that's the old pitching backwards. Look at the split in the fingers. That's a great shot, Mike. Birdie's got the good camera there. Almost like it was a split, but would be his changeup. Kind of a split changeup that he throws. Rotating the ball on his glove until he gets the sign, the pitch that he likes. Then he rotates it to have the grip that he wants on a certain pitch.
3-1 to Stubbs. Missed inside. So Stubbs is aboard, and he's a very fast runner. So first walk issued by Manaea. He's got a couple of strikeouts.
Number 6, Bobby Wilson.
So now Bobby Wilson will hit. There's the Rangers without Robinson Chirinos, regular catcher. Broke his forearm early in the season, so he's going to be out for a little while, although he's getting close to coming back. No Shin-Soo Choo either. He's been out since the 10th of April with a calf strain. I know he's getting close to coming back. Of course, Yu Darvish, should see him soon. Wilson reached for that one, fouls it back. Almost forgot about Josh Hamilton, who had knee surgery. A.J. Griffin, who had pitched well, he just went on the disabled list. Tanner Scheppers, left knee. Keone Kela, who did a nice job for them as a rookie last year. He was a big part of their bullpen. He's out. So there's some fairly significant players on the disabled list for the Rangers. I think Choo and Darvish, the real big names. But those two guys will be back soon, and they'll make the Rangers even stronger. One and two the count to Wilson. Hanser Alberto is in the on deck circle. Change up. So 2-2 the count. 68 pitches for Manaea, and he's been good so far tonight. It's nice to see him have a bounce back start after a tough night at Fenway Park in his last start. line drive. Valencia grabs it, and that's the second out.
But just don't put Bobby Wilson up with the bases loaded, because he's a grand slam master. And you know, it's good base running, but this is a line drive. You can see the run at first base and Stubbs at great speed, tempted to take off, but just the line drive, you could see that it was heading in the direction of Danny Valencia. So you go back to Friday in St. Pete, yesterday afternoon, and now tonight. Some shots have been hit at him on the line. He's been able to reach down to the left and make the play.
So here's Hanser Alberto. Big swing by Alberto. Alberto fouled out to Butler in the third inning. Hit toward Coco, and he backs up over a little bit. He grabs it, side retired. So the 1-out walk, nothing else for the Rangers. Bottom of the fifth coming up. It's the A's 2, the Rangers nothing. And California is brought to you locally by Energy Upgrade California. Energy tips, rebates, and financing options are available at energyupgradeca.org. Beautiful look at the Port of Oakland. Those things are huge, huh? Yeah, those big cranes.
Bring all those ships in and unload them.
Bring them in, unload them. Get them out of here.
Send them back out.
McBride fouls it back. McBride reached on an error in the third inning.
You have to wonder when eventually an A's hitter will cheat on a fastball inside and crush it into the seats, because that's, you know, some left-handers like to live inside, and really it's not a bad idea, because it does force the pitcher to finish inside. In other words, finish his pitch inside.
But too, I mean, it goes back to your theory also, is like if they're not getting to it, then you keep throwing it. But
that's right.
You're right. You almost think somewhere along the line,
it's called,
somebody's going to cheat a little bit.
Yeah, establishing a pattern, and he's pretty consistent. He very rarely pitches the outside part of the plate against right-handers. Watch Bobby Wilson tells it all right there.
Well, he went outside, but I think Wilson wanted it inside.
Yeah, he moved inside, and it's a changeup. The fastball, he'll finish inside and finish well. Changeup, he kind of pushes and guides the ball a little bit and leaves it out. Again.
And there it was, and you could see it just gets in a little bit on the right-handed hitter. McBride could not completely get the bat head out. But two, he'll be going through the lineup for the 3rd time here soon, so we'll see if he keeps up that pattern. Lots of fastballs.
And not surprising, then Darren Bouchier's hitting coach talked about the actually entire staff of the Rangers and how they live and off pitch off the fastball, and basically that 71% is showing. And there's your breaking ball, first pitch, but he likes the fastball. He'll throw it majority of the time and throw it inside.
And that one tapped foul as Wilson popped out behind home plate, tagged Ladendorf, but it was called a foul ball by Gabe Morales. Now the Rangers had bullpen activity last inning, but Holland was able to get through the 4th. 0-2 pitch right there, strike 3 called. And not much to argue about on that one, as that's the first strikeout for Derek Holland.
On the outside was the target, but the pitch right down the middle. And but sometimes the hitter just freezes, and that time there's no way for Ladendorf to pull the trigger. And that was a strikeout that Holland probably had said, "Oof, glad he didn't swing at that," because that is right down the middle.
Top of the order in Coco Chris. First pitch changeup is outside. Coco has hit a pop up to second and a fly ball to center. So he is 0 for 2. Good swing there. Coco is 6 for 18 against left-handed pitching this year, so he has not had a lot of at-bats. The A's saw a lefty yesterday, and they're going to see one tomorrow, and they're going to see one on Wednesday. Desmond hustling in, and Desmond, the center fielder's there, and that's a good inning for Derek Holland, as he has a strikeout and a couple of fly ball outs, and we're through 5, 2-0 A's.
You got it. What's better? What's better than taking your family to the ballpark on a Friday night with the Friday Family Pack? You get 4 Plaza level tickets, 4 Coliseum hot dogs, 4 medium sodas, 4 bags of peanuts. Just $60 at every Friday home game. Buy now at athletics.com/family pack, subject to availability.
Odor, big rip at the first pitch and hits it foul just above the A's bullpen. What a play by that youngster. Atta baby.
Scotty's job's in jeopardy, man. That's a great play. You got the A's jacket. He's going to get high fives from everybody. Got his glove. Check this out. Go up and get it.
Nice.
Wow.
Reddick's going to move in and over, and he's got it. So Odor is 0 for 3.
Did you see where his bat ended up?
Where?
By the dugout.
He flipped his bat.
Well, he didn't flip it. He threw it.
Because they don't like it. Rangers don't like when you flip your bat, Ray. You know that. That makes them mad.
I think he was angry that he missed it, but as he hit it and then, well, that's just so the bat boy didn't have to walk all the way to the plate. But it ended up near the dugout.
Yeah, you want to get on the Rangers' bad side. Just flip your bat.
Hey, by the way, did you see the young man give that baseball away to a fan, another fan? The young man had caught the baseball.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
we like him even more now.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah.
What a fine young gentleman.
Gave it to the lady down there, and then she gave it back.
You know what? He made a good effort, right? I'm guessing that he's going to sleep with that baseball tonight.
Under the pillow.
Yeah,
that's right.
Let's put a Ray Fosse autograph on that ball, and then, oh boy!
So if he comes back Friday to your birthday, Friday, he'll be asking for your autograph.
No. See, they're pointing at us.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy. He's actually he's pretty calm and cool about it. I like that.
You know, one of the great at Old Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Rex Barney, Rookie of the Year. And he'd catch a ball like that, you know what he'd say? Give that fan a contract.
Well,
I mean, he blared it over the PA where everybody could hear it.
I think the guy's trying to buy a baseball from him. Slid that dollar bill. Did you see that? Strike 3 called on the inside corner.
Slipped a dollar bill.
He did.
That pearl's worth a lot more than a buck.
Nice pitch by Sean Manaea.
Going inside, take advantage of this one hit in the corner, and Elvis Andrus, of course, did not like the pitch inside, so he's moving it back, and Gabe Morales said nope. Struck out. Good location.
So 2 outs, and here's Mazzara. Right in there, fastball. So Manaea pitching with some confidence right now.
Well, the big inning, the 5th inning for the Mariners in the game here, that 2-out single that opened up a big 4-run inning for the Mariners. But tonight, he's working all of his pitches.
Is that the same youngster? So that was earlier in the game, just about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, so that's
he
what
missed
it was.
And he got another chance, and he caught it.
Wow, great shot, guys. That was tremendous.
Burns coming in. Burns dives, and Burns caught it.
He watched the kid catch the ball over there.
Right.
He's
a lot of good defense in this inning, whether it be from the fans or from Billy Burns. What a play.
Wow, that's great. What a play.
How about this, Ray? On this date in 1928, former A's and Rangers manager Billy Martin was born in Berkeley.
Wow.
He managed the A's in 1980, 81, and 82. Look at those sweet uniforms. He also managed the Rangers from 1973 to 75. He also managed the Twins, the Tigers, and of course the Yankees. Unfortunately, he died on Christmas Day in 1989. Boy, it's hard to believe that Billy Martin's been gone that long. 1989. So good start for the A's as Billy Burns drops a single. But you shouldn't forget either, he played 11 years, 4 World Series titles.
And one of the most memorable catches coming in from second base at Yankee Stadium and catching the ball near the pitcher's mound. And I mean, that's always shown, but it's hard for me to imagine Billy Martin managing today, not being able to argue because of the replays.
Oh, it wouldn't be any fun.
You know, I mean, you could he's out talking to the umpire, arguing, and he smiles and walks away. But I mean, that was the beauty of Billy, to be able to watch him and Lou Piniella, all those managers that loved to argue with umpires when it was okay to argue because there was something to argue about.
So Billy Martin turning around and looking at his bench coach to see if they should replay the call.
Yeah,
that is not quite as much fun as Billy Martin going on to argue.
When he was managing the Tigers and had a manager who called the pitches for me, it's just one of those things, you know. And so he'd yell at me, he'd say, "Hey, Ray," and I'd look over and he's giving me the signs like
from the other dugout.
Yeah, give me a break. He didn't laugh. I mean, he had a good time.
Hit hard, could be 2. Odor, Andrus on to first, and it was a tailor-made double play. Reddick hit it very hard, but it was right at Odor.
And you notice that Rangers not shifting Josh Reddick. They're playing him straight up, and that was a ball hit straight to the second baseman. And in fact, they hit one in the first inning, same place. But not a lot of shifting done by the Rangers against the Athletics.
And now Valencia will hit. He's holding on to a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Both their runs coming in the 4th. Holland misses outside. Well, outside of that 4th inning, Holland's been very good, but he threw 39 pitches in that inning. He's kind of lost it a little bit. Belted to center. Desmond's back. Warning track. Room makes the catch. A 6-pitch inning for Derek Holland, and we are moving on to the 7th. 2-0 A's.
Reddick bobblehead with spinning action presented by Comerica Bank. Saturday, May 28th, week from this coming Saturday. 15,000 fans will walk away with a replica of one of the Gold Glover's signature catches. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. About Grant Balfour yesterday telling us only Josh Reddick could climb the wall. We thought maybe the rage, or the let's see, the Balfour rage, I guess that was what it was. He said the wall's a little too high for him to jump up, but Reddick could possibly do it.
He was tired too from pitching all those games at the end of that season. It was great to talk to Grant Balfour yesterday in Tampa. St. Pete, I should say.
Low key Aussie. I mean, he was just very low key, except when he got on the mound. Well, that's a big inning for Sean Manaea as he's going out for the 7th inning. Remember, the first 3 games, 5+, 5, 2 2/3. So he's in uncharted waters already, pitching in the 7th inning. 6 great innings, just a couple of hits.
2-0 to Beltre, followed by Desmond and Rua. 2-1 with the fastball called a strike. Beltre has hit a fly ball to the left field and a fly ball to right field, so he's 0 for 2, DHing tonight. Rolled foul toward the A's dugout. Just 2 hits for Texas. Rua's double, and that was in the 2nd. Andrus single, that was in the 4th. Way outside.
Well, if he throws a, see if he throws a change up to Beltre. In his last at bat, but tough part of the batting order for Manaea with the Rangers hitting.
Tapped over the mound. Ladendorf juggles, throws, not in time. Little double clutch, and probably cost him a chance to get the out. So it's going to be a hit for Beltre.
Oh, they threw him a very good changeup. Manaea couldn't get it, and there's the double clutch. Just enough with Beltre getting down the line, but started to throw, didn't have the grip, and by the time he did, Beltre just barely had crossed the bag.
And that'll bring up Ian Desmond. Desmond fouls it straight back.
Well, Ladendorf, if you think back to Odor in the 3rd inning when he made a great play in the outfield grass, spun and threw out the speedy Odor, and a ball that looked like it's going to be a base hit, and this time couldn't get the ball out of the glove. He's got the arm strength to do it.
Desmond, base hit left field. So an infield hit and a line drive hit, and the Rangers are in business here in the 7th. And that'll get the A's bullpen moving.
Well, struck him out on a fastball. Kurt Young's going to visit. Desmond kept the bat head back, and a solid base hit to left field.
So Ryan Rua is the hitter. Doolittle's warming up quickly. Keep in mind the Rangers have a couple of good left-handed bats on their bench. Prince Fielder and Mitch Moreland. So Kurt jogs back to the dugout. After Rua, it would be Drew Stubbs.
Number 16, Ryan Rua.
Next pitch will be pitch 90 for Sean Manaea. Now the corner infielders come in for the A's, so the A's think that Rua is going to be bunting. And we'll see if that's the case.
Yeah. They have to anticipate, and boy, are they anticipating.
Rua is not bunting, and he takes low. So that's a tough spot if you're Valencia or Butler, because after you realize he's not bunting, you don't have a whole lot of time to retreat back. So you really just kind of maybe take one step back and then hope for the best.
And you're really opening up a lot of holes with the middle infielders playing close for a double play possibility.
There's a strike. Good pitch there. It's that inside corner. Both pitchers working there tonight. Manaea gets the call that time. 1-1 the count. Rowe with a double and a ground out. Big swing and a miss. 1-2.
It's not bunting now. Got to move
he wasn't
back.
Bunting there either.
No, he's definitely with this swing. That's not a bunt swing, and he was thinking get that extra 6 inches and get it over the fence with that swing. But good fastball from Manaea.
Wanted it inside, but it floated out over the plate. The crowd making some noise. A tense moment here in the 7th inning. Runners go, and the ball's tapped. Manaea reaches up, grabs it, throws low, and it is dug out by Butler. So the runners were taken off.
Boy, they had tremendous job. Fortunately, a couple of strikes on Wow because great play as Manaea looked to second, but realized his only play was the first and threw the ball in the dirt. And Billy Butler with a great play to keep it from going past him, but also to get the big out. If that ball gets by him, they may score 2. So Billy Butler using his glove and his good hands to catch the ball and stretching out. Good play, Billy.
So 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, and here's Stubbs. Corner infielders in, and Stubbs hits a high fly ball. Reddick sets up. Beltre tags, and here comes Beltre, and the throw's going to go toward 3rd. So it's a sacrifice fly by Stubbs, and the Rangers are on the board. It's 2-1.
Well, Bob Melvin is not going to let Manaea finish this half inning, and at least he has not made the move, and now he has made the move. So he's going to go to Sean Doolittle to try to get the final out of this inning.
So a heck of a performance tonight by the big rookie left-hander Sean Manaea, and he's going to get a nice ovation. Well-deserved 6 2/3 innings, and he leaves with the 2-1 lead. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Doolittle coming in. A's leading 2-1. He's hanging on to a 2-1 lead. Rangers have the tying run at second base. So Doolittle will face Bobby Wilson, the right-handed hitting catcher. 19th appearance for Sean Doolittle. And this is game number 39 for the Ace. So he's been a busy guy. First pitch to Wilson, right there for a strike. Wilson has grounded out and lined out. 95 pitches for Sean Manaea, 6 2/3 innings, just 4 hits and a run. He was really in control the whole game.
Yes, he was. Great off-speed pitches, the changeups, the sliders.
Swing and a miss.
And thinking, boy, if I had that heater, I'd be good. That is a fastball. So he was the first to allow an inherited runner to score. This one could be a huge one to send into the dugout with the runner at second. 2 blazing fastballs.
And that one is hit foul. Second level.
Now McBride going upstairs a little bit. Just what Stephen Vogt has been doing. We saw Derek Norris kind of start that, and Sean Doolittle at his best when he pitches up in the zone.
Doolittle shakes. Now he says we're good. High fastball swing and a miss. No chance for Wilson. And that's how the inning ends. The Rangers get a run. So 7th inning stretch time. It's the A's 2 and the Rangers 1.
Right choice, Sean Doolittle. What about a punch out? How about strike 1? Good fastball to Bobby Wilson. Set up inside was McBride. Strike 2. Another good fastball. He's going to foul off 1. Tried to go upstairs, and here he comes again. He's going to challenge him with another fastball. Blew him away and pumped his fist, saying, "Did it again." Sean Doolittle, who made his major league debut against the Rangers in 2012 on June the 4th, struck out the side. He strikes out a big batter and Bobby Wilson to give Sean Manaea a 2-1 lead heading to the bottom of the 7th.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and brake experts. Luke Jackson comes in. Those are the numbers from AAA. He was just brought up on the minor leagues. We mentioned it earlier. He was brought up, and Tom Wilhelmsen. Pretty good reliever for a long time. Really not having a very good year. And Wilhelmsen was sent to the minor leagues. Jackson's first pitch, a big swing by Chris Davis, and he missed it.
That look of, what was that? It's a slider. Cutter slider, did not move that much.
So the count 0-1. Davis with a sacrifice fly. Hanging breaking ball, grounds it to Alberto, 1 away. So 6 innings for Derek Holland tonight. So after 2 really poor outings for Holland, he bounces back and has a pretty good start. 3 hits, 2 runs.
Well, considering he had the 39 pitches in the 4th inning alone, came back with 12 after that, and that probably forced Jeff Bannister of Brookhill to have him leave the game after 6 with the pitch count. Had to be a good outing for him, confidence-wise, to be able to pitch well at a park that he normally pitches well.
Billy Butler had a big 2-out RBI hit. He bounces this one toward Alberto, a nice backhanded pick. So not an easy hop for Alberto, and he took care of it.
Billy Butler trying to sneak one past him, and you're right. You make a backhand play, especially the hitter just barely getting out of the batter's box. Had enough time to get in front of it, but decided to go with the backhand. Made a good play.
See John Axford starting to throw. Jackson trying to have a quick inning here in the bottom of the 7th as he faces Marcus Semien. Ground out to short, ground out to the pitcher for Semien. Hits this one high in the air. Right field line, Mazzaro over, and it's into the first row right behind the Rangers bullpen. The 1-1 to count. Not a lot of offense tonight. 4 hits for the Rangers, 3 hits for the A's. In first strike, 88 miles an hour from Luke Jackson. Setting up outside is the catcher Wilson, and that one comes back over the plate and it's belted to center. Desmond's back, still going back. He leaps, and that baby's gone. Semien with home run number 10, and the A's lead 3-1.
Wow. 2-strike pitch, Kai. That's a big boy home run straight away center field on a cool night. Number 10 for number 10, and a fastball. What a great swing from Marcus Semien. We've seen it. This time going to straightaway center. It sounded great off his bat. And the distance as Desmond went back could not come up with. You're going to see the ball bounce, which means good news for the A's. That's a poke. No chance for Desmond, and Marcus Semien, 10 home runs. Bottom third of the lineup for the A's.
Odor drifts back. Odor calls everybody off, and then Desmond does the same, and it will be Ian Desmond who makes the catch. Marcus Semien goes center field for a home run, 10th of the year. So 8th inning coming up. It's now 3-1 A's lead.
A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
8th inning with the A's leading the Rangers 3-1. The A's go back to the bullpen. Doolittle got the big out to end the 7th, and now it's John Axford's turn. Axford facing Alberto, Odor, and Andrus. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. 3-1 with a 3.38 ERA for Axford.
Got the win yesterday following Doe, who struck out 4. Axford came in. Lindsey hit the home run. Madsen closed it out, throwing just 4 pitches.
And it was good to have Axford back out there.
It was.
He got hit in the foot earlier in the road trip, and he was out for 3-4 games. Yonder Alonso is now the first baseman. In for a strike, 2-1. Alberto has fouled out and hit a fly ball to left field, so he's 0 for 2.
I liked what Brian Madsen told us in the great interview post game, and saying, yeah, and Axford comes in throwing 100, but it seemed like he was throwing 98, 99 in the game yesterday.
2-2 now to Alberto.
2-0, then back-to-back fastballs, elevated this one to get a swing and miss.
And again, a high fastball, and Alberto strikes out. 1 away in the top of the 8th.
Well, great location. McBride wanted it down and in. It went up and in. Great location, just tied up Alberto with back-to-back fastballs in the inner part of the plate. See him bring his hands in, try to make contact, knowing that it's going to be a strike.
Top of the order, Rougned Odor, and the A's have kept Odor quiet. Fly ball to center, a ground out, and a fly ball to right. He's the igniter. The Angels and the Dodgers are playing tonight at Dodger Stadium. That's a 4-game series. 2 at Dodger Stadium, 2 in Anaheim. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And right now the Angels are leading the Dodgers 4-3. That game in the 5th inning.
Swept the Mariners over the weekend.
Yep.
That's
so a little momentum for the Angels, trying to get back on track. They're 16-21. A's are 16-22. Matt Shoemaker started that game. In fact, he's still in there. Mayada was knocked out of the game. That one is driven down the right field line, but it's going to be foul. Also news coming out today, and it's not been made official, but it certainly sounds like it's close to happening, is that Tim Lincecum's going to sign with the Angels.
With all their injuries, not surprised.
Not surprised.
Just a question of how quickly he can get ready to pitch at the major league level. See the big aggressive swing by Odor, and pitches inside, did a great job pulling his hands in, and did pull the fastball foul.
So at some point in the next 4 months, we'll probably face Tim Lincecum, which would be strange to see him in a different uniform.
Got 16 chances.
That's right. That's a good call.
Only played 3 games here.
Well, Lincecum said, I want to still be a starter. Some teams wanted him as a reliever, but we'll see if he can hold up as a starter after hip surgery. On the ground, Alonso has it. He'll run to the bag, and that's out number 2.
The great thing for a pitcher in the case of Lincecum, and sadly for some teams in baseball, they have injuries.
Now batting,
Alonso goes in defensively, and an outstanding fielding first baseman, swinging about well also. But you get teams that are struggling. In the case of the Angels, Garrett Richards, Tommy John, and you know, with Heaney and Skaggs, I mean, got a lot of guys hurt. So it's a perfect opportunity for Lincecum to sit out, kind of pick whoever he wants to sign with, and get the deal he wants. And like you said, being a starting pitcher.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of money he gets.
Does it really matter?
No,
he's made a lot already.
He's made plenty of money. You're right.
I mean, to have the success he did in the early part of his career, but again, that's the great part about it. He wants to continue to play, and maybe incentive laden, who knows, but Angels definitely, they're not going to quit, and they realize the season is long, and I don't know, the veterans on the team, including their manager who's been around, is going to let a team worry about injuries and just cave in the season because of it.
And Lincecum, he'll be 32 in June, so he's not an old pitcher. 2-0 pitch to Andrus, right there for a strike.
Well, one thing for sure, he knows how to pitch.
Yeah,
his many years and what, a no-hitter with the Giants, so he's already got that in his resume. A couple of Cy Young awards, and
inside, Andrus jackknifes out of the way. Astros are off today. They will be in Chicago to play the White Sox tomorrow night, start a 3-game series, and the Mariners are also off today. So they were traveling. They will open up a series in Baltimore tomorrow. Close pitch, just a little bit outside. 2-out walk to Andrus. Some power's coming up.
Now batting, number 30.
So here is
Nomar Mazara.
Nomar Mazara, who's got 4 home runs and 12 RBIs.
You know, watching the at-bat by Elvis Andrus, he knows his club's down by 2. He gets a 2-0 fastball down the middle, and he takes it, and ultimately draws a walk, and just trying to get on base to keep the inning going. And sometimes you'll see hitters swinging at a 2-0 fastball, which is a good pitch not to swing at when you're trying to be a base runner. So Axford put himself in a position now to face a pretty good hitter, a left-handed hitter in Mazara.
So 1-0 the count. Mazara, 6'4", 215 pounds. He looks like a hitter standing in there, doesn't he?
Well, he does, and you figure at his age, just turning to 21, and
he doesn't look 21.
No, he looks like he's going to fill out be a much bigger player than what he already is.
Yeah, West may have their hands full. Now it's 2-0 with Beltre waiting in the on-deck circle.
Well, first pitch curveball, and he threw a couple to Andrus that were not strikes. And got that guy waiting in the on-deck circle. So curveball and a fastball are both missed to Mazara.
Bounces this one towards Simeon. Simeon's going to have to hurry, and they got him. So close play at first.
Yeah, can run too.
Yes, he can. They may take a quick glance at it. It looked like
he got it.
Like they got it. Now the Rangers are running out to the field, so we're going to figure that the out call was correct, and it was. 3-1. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Here's our game summary. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 1-4-1 for the Rangers, 3-4-0 for the A's. And both starting pitchers were pretty good. Holland went 6 innings. In fact, Sean Manaea was very good. 6 2/3 innings, just 1 earned run. Another home run for Marcus Semien. He's got 10. So the A's hanging on to the 3-1 lead. And Ryan Matson, the closer, just now starting to get loose out in the bullpen for the A's. The A's 3 outs away from a Sean Manaea win.
Wouldn't that be great?
He's never had one before.
Nope.
A little bit outside. 3-1 now. Luke Jackson gave up the home run to Semien in the 7th inning.
Talk about a big insurance run. That's a huge run for the A's.
That one's hit high in the air left center, but it's going to hang up for Stubbs. And Drew Stubbs gets to it. So 1 out, and now Coco Crisp will hit. Night game tomorrow, day game on Wednesday, and then the Yankees come to town for a 4-game series. Yankees playing a little bit better lately.
Well, they got the big 3 in the end, so it's a 6-inning game for them.
It sure is.
If they have the lead, and with Chapman back, the A's were fortunate to sweep the Yankees. Yankee Stadium, they did not see Chapman. He was on the suspended list.
The Yankees 16-20. But that is, speaking of the big 3, that would be the big 3 coming out of the Yankees bullpen.
That's right.
Yankees are in Arizona. What's going on there? Chip Hale's D-backs are beating up on the Yankees 9-2. So interleague matchup for the Yankees.
I would not see Betances, Miller, and
no, they will
Chapman
not pitch tonight.
No.
Chip's going to be okay tonight. Pitch is a strike. The Rays beat the Blue Jays 13-2. The left-hander Andrew Faulkner starts to throw.
John Gibbons was ejected again.
Yeah, he was not happy. Gibby. We love Gibby.
He's a good man. Slow talking Texan.
Yeah, the Rays had 17 hits. They hit 4 home runs. Smiley got the win. Happ got the loss. J.A. Happ has pitched great for the Blue Jays up until tonight. He gave up 8 earned runs. So Rays scored a bunch early. Coco had a good rip that time. It's like foul ball alley. Takes a big bounce. Red Sox and the Royals were postponed due to bad weather in Kansas City, and they will play a day-night doubleheader tomorrow. Let's hope the weather gets better. Indians beat the Reds 15-6 in the Battle of Ohio, another interleague game. A little bit low on 3-2. Crisp is aboard.
Here's tonight's Honda player of the game, Sean Manaea. New haircut. Excellent, excellent night tonight. And Sean Manaea, 95 pitches, 6 2/3 innings, just an earned run, a walk, 3 strikeouts. And Matt McBride did a good job with him tonight, changing speeds, good fastball location inside with good changeups and fastball counts. And he's in line for another victory. And first game he left 4-2, no decision. Second, he left 8-4. That was against Felix and the Mariners, and no decision when the Mariners came back and won the game. So tonight, 3-1 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Trying to get a big, big win for Sean Manaea.
So the meeting is over. Billy Burns steps in. Keep an eye on Coco Crisp. Coco's got 4 steals this year. He's been thrown out twice. This is a pretty good spot to Try to steal a bag. Burns takes a fastball for a strike. Tigers beat the Twins 10-8. Crazy game. The Tigers scored 8 runs in the first inning. By the 7th inning, it was tied 8-8. The Tigers that scored a couple runs late ended up winning. Jordan Zimmerman gave up 7 earned runs in 7 innings, but got the win. So crazy night in Detroit.
Well, both clubs needing a victory.
Ooh,
and
that's the truth.
Speaking of ejection, Brad Ausmus, the manager.
Yeah, he got it.
He was so upset he took off his jacket and laid it across home plate and threw his cap there.
That's a good move.
So that's, even though it's an era of replays and reviews and can't argue a challenge play, but you still argue. And a night in which a couple of managers ejected. Yeah, that's great. They're in honor of Billy Martin.
A little bit of a light schedule. You get that on Mondays sometimes. To pitch to Burns inside. Burns finds a way to get on base. He's grounded out, was hit by a pitch, and has singled. And he has scored one of the A's 3 runs. Outfield very shallow for Burns. In the top of the 9th, it'll be Beltre, Desmond, Rua, and again, remember, Fielder and Moreland are on the bench. Not running, it was a pitch out. Coco's got that good lean going, the sprinter lean. Not running. And now it's 3-2. Who knows? Maybe the threat of him running could
exactly
be affecting.
Right. I was just thinking the same thing.
A young pitcher who's trying to stick in the big leagues. Coco not running, and it's fouled to the screen. Billy Burns doing his thing again, just hanging in there.
I think the amazing thing for Billy Burns and what we saw Friday night, as everybody said, he swings at first pitches all the time. How could he have a 14-pitch at bat? And it turned out to be the biggest at bat of the night.
There's Coco going, swing and a miss, throw to second base right there, and that's going to be a strike him out, throw him out, double play. So the 9th inning is coming up. Madsen's going to try to save Sean Manaea's first big league win. It's the A's 3, Rangers 1. Ninth inning, it's the A's 3, it's the Rangers 1, and when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So the big right-hander Ryan Madson comes in. He's got 10 saves. He has not blown a save this year, and he's trying to get Sean Manaea his first big league win. Here's Beltre to lead it off. And the first pitch in for a strike. A lot of movement on that pitch at 93 miles an hour.
Well, I asked Darren Bush about the changeup, and especially a pitcher like Madsen who can throw the changeup with the same delivery as he throws the fastball, and he said it is so hard to pick it up, and it's hard to sit on a changeup, especially the way Madsen throws it, but because the fastball can get on you very quickly as well.
Beltre and off the end of the bat. Marcus Semien across the diamond, 1 away.
And there's your changeup. 2 fastballs and then a great changeup. Well, as Ryan told us, I've been throwing a changeup since I was 9. Same changeup since I was 9. And really, it is exactly the same delivery as his fastball. And you have that kind of a changeup and a fastball thrown exactly the same. Got a hitter going back and forth. Which one is it going to be? 50-50 chance.
Desmond takes a pitch a little bit outside. Desmond is 1 for 3. Three singles and a double for the Rangers tonight. So the A's pitchers have been terrific. This is a team that coming into tonight 2nd in the American League in runs scored. Only the Boston Red Sox have scored more. So you shut down a very good offensive team. Chopped right side. Nice play, Tyler Latendorf. He had a range a long ways to his left, and he was about 7-8 feet onto the outfield grass.
Chappie did it on Odor earlier, but you're right. Look how far he has to range. This is a base hit, and once he spins amazingly to pick up the target at first base Alonso and get a lot on the throw with his momentum going away from the bag, and gets the runner by plenty. Don't even see him coming into your picture. So Latendorf, a great play. Double clutched on the ball up the middle, but he has been exceptional going to his left.
So here's Ryan Rua, final out for Madsen to get. Rua had the first hit of the game for the Rangers. He has also grounded out twice. Sinker to the backstop, so 2-0 the count. Mitch Moreland has come out into the on-deck circle. He would hit for Stubbs if Rua could get on. So that's a dangerous guy. Strike with a fastball inside corner, 2-1. Madsen looking for his 11th save of the year. Inside corner, strike 2.
Is that perfect location or what? Perfectly thrown inside corner.
Crowd on its feet. 2-2. Here's the pitch from Madsen. Got him swinging, and that's the ball game.
That's a textbook changeup.
So a clean 9th inning for Ryan Madsen, and he gets his 11th save. And congratulations to Sean Manaea, who picks up his first major league win. It took 2 hours and 28 minutes in front of 10,068. The A's win Game 1 of this 3-game series, and lots of pitching tonight. couple of clutch hits, including a home run by Marcus Semien. Final score, the Oakland A's 3 and the Texas Rangers 1. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Post Game Live with Henry Wolford and Shooty Babbitt starts right now.